So I read a book called Dharma Gaia, which was a collection of essays and poems, kind of that link Buddhism with environmentalism, and had some really cool artwork as well. I came across this artist called Mayumi Oda, which very good artist. I like her art. So the impression I got from the book is that I think there's this idea that um, Buddhism is almost basically Buddhism provides a sort of kind of philosophical, ethical groundwork um, for environmentalism. Almost as if one is a Buddhist, um, there's this idea of a causal factor, kind of like if one is a Buddhist, because with meditation, one sees things as they are, one kind of becomes more in harmony with their surroundings, one practices moral sort of ethics, basically, not harming and trying to put that into practice. And so by being a Buddhist, maybe you are naturally become environmentalist. And I sort of question this in some ways, I think, because what meditation does is, on some level, it shows you who you are. You get to see, or rather, who you're not. You get to go through all these mental processes, going through your karma, your thoughts, and you'll have all. When you sit down and view your thoughts, there's many things you basically your shadow side comes through, your dark side. There's much darkness inside of you, and I think it's possible that working through the layers of our kind of conditioning, we might come to a more peaceful, harmonious, non-attached kind of place, where, yeah, we'll see through other injustices, you know. But I think we have to work through certain things. So like environmentalism might be one of them that we eventually come to. But, it could be, you might have a realization about feminism or about kind of class consciousness or things like that, which might just be through reflection and through allowing your thoughts to kind of take place. But ultimately, I think Buddhism is about a bit beyond. It's beyond any of the thoughts that we can have, including any concepts, any dogma. One good criticism was the fact that Buddhism it's kind of like an anti-dogma. Even Buddhism itself, it says don't take it as dogma. So that's a good way of showing how environmentalism can become quite dogmatic, as any ideology can be. So, for example, there's an essay talking about how like small is beautiful, how small isn't always necessarily the best thing. The argument is that basically the scale of the state and of corporations is causing more environmental harm. It's just that at this point where things are too big, things should get smaller, not always that things should get smaller, and therefore that's the best course of action, which is a good point. So I think there's similar arguments with kind of psychedelics, right? That psychedelics make people more maybe liberal, left leaning, make them more environmental, things like that. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. It might have a probabilistic sense of it could, or it could nudge people in that direction, but it can also have the sense of inflating the ego or distorting it. It depends how you integrate these kind of insights and revelations. That's really the most important part. That's an essential part of the kind of spiritual path. So yeah, but the essay is really nice. I had some really nice feelings that came out of some of the essays. Like, it is nice to feel connected, and there's a lot of I think there's also a sense of like martyrdom, like the bodhisattva ideal of like doing it for others, saving other sentient beings, like kind of sacrificing yourself for the environment. Maybe that means giving up some job, or like literally sacrificing your body. Maybe you tie yourself to a tree or something like that, risking going to prison. Like, that's kind of idealized, and I don't know if that's the essence of Buddhist practice. I think certainly it's in the kind of social justice kind of movement is becoming quite large, especially in Western Buddhism. So maybe that's the path it will go, but I'm not so sure if I agree with that that path. I don't know if Buddhism necessarily needs to go that way. Really is about personal salvation and the kind of the salvation of all through that. There's a kind of practical but metaphysical, I think, sense to it as well. So yeah, I'd really recommend it. I got it from I accessed it through archive.org. It's really quite a niche book, so probably be able to access it quite easily. Yeah, but there's some typical people. You get Stephen Batchelor, I've heard of. There's Gary Snyder and Anna Ginsberg, and yeah, some other people as well. So maybe you'll find someone that you want to follow more. So yeah.